Why is it that every other sneaker reseller seems to have a pair of Freddy Krueger SB Dunks? Aren't there supposed to be like only 30 pairs in circulation? If there's only 30 pairs and everybody out there seemingly has a pair, there's really only a couple of explanations. One, a lot of the pairs that you're seeing out there are fakes, or two, there are a lot more than 30 pairs out there. In today's episode, we are going to look a little bit deeper into the backstory of the Freddy Krueger SB Dunks. We're going to dispel the myth and debunk the claim that there are only 30 pairs in circulation, and we're going to try and hazard a guess as to how many pairs there may well be out there. Hello everybody, it is me, Jordan Young, back with another certified hood classic. If you're new to the channel and you love sneaker related content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and while you're here, make yourself useful and hit the like button for me so you can share this video around. The Freddy Krueger Dunks are one of the most coveted SBs out there. Pairs of these sell for $20, $30, $50,000. It's a proper holy grail sneaker for a lot of people. Because they're so expensive and they're so popular, more and more fakes of these have been cropping up in recent years. But as well as a lot of fakes cropping up in recent years, there have been a lot of extra legit pairs cropping up as well. And so in order to understand the increase of volume in the market, we need to go back and revisit the Freddy origin story. The Freddy Krueger SB Dunk Lows were meant to come out in 2007 as part of the horror pack alongside the Jason Voorhees SB Dunk High and the Dawn of the Dead Air Trainer 1. Before the widespread retail release of this sneaker, images got leaked. Once New Line Cinema, the owners of the Nightmare franchise, caught wind of the release, they issued a cease and desist order to Nike, ordering that they cancel the release, recall all of the pairs produced, and destroy them. The story goes that a skate shop in Mexico actually released pairs of the Freddy Dunks early, to the tune of around 26 pairs. This would constitute 2 full-size runs. Right, so that's the backstory. Why do people think that there are only 30 pairs? The main reason is content creators and the internet.
To this day, there's believed to only be 30 pairs of the shoe in existence.
And today, because there's believed to be only 26 to 30 pairs in existence?
If you go onto the internet and you Google search how many pairs of Freddy Dunks there are, the search results at the very top are going to tell you that there are only 30 pairs. When you actually click on the website that makes this claim, it takes you to an investment platform, which specializes in selling shares in alternative assets like sneakers, collectibles, and art. And so the #1 Google search for how many Freddys there are is from a site that is actually looking to sell you shares in the Freddy Dunks. I feel like this source is probably one of the main places where people are getting the idea that there are only 30 pairs of Freddys in circulation. The other explanation for the 30 pairs is that there were rumored to be around 26 pairs of samples of Freddy Dunks made. And so my opinion is people are using one of 3 different sources for this 30 pair number. They're either using the Google search 30 pairs, or they're using the quoted 26 pairs of samples number, or they're using the 26 pairs from the Mexico release number. What we can be very, very sure of is that there are not only just 30 pairs of Freddys out there in circulation. Look at this picture right here. This is a Korean collector that has an incredible collection of ultra rare sneakers, including what looks to be 15, 20 pairs of Freddys alone. Dude also has 4 pairs of the incredibly rare yellow lobsters. And so the idea that there are only 30 pairs out there in existence and in circulation, and this particular dude here has half of them, is preposterous. It is a nonsense. If you go on to any content regarding the Freddy Dunks on TikTok or IG Reels or YouTube Shorts or whatever, you can see a whole number of like little 13-year-old sausages making comments like, "Those are reps.
Those are fake, bro. Why does everybody have a pair of these when only 30 pairs were made? These are obviously fake."
Now, it can't be denied, there's a bit of motivation out there from people in the sneaker spectator community to cast aspersions on the sneaker culture and to try to corrupt the integrity of the hyper rare, hyper expensive sneaker collectibles market, because a lot of these people just can't really understand why so many of these really rare sneakers go for so much crazy money. We can pretty much put to bed any kind of idea that there are only 30 pairs of Freddys in circulation. The sources for this information are sketchy at best, and when you look at the sheer amount of legitimate pairs that are being sold or being shared online by reputable people, it certainly suggests there are much more out there in the market. But how many is the question. First and foremost, we have the retail Freddies, the pairs that released at the Mexican skate shop. The rumors are there's around 26 pairs, which constitutes 2 complete full-size runs. These pairs released in 2007 for the retail price of around $75. They came in gold boxes, but I've also heard that some pairs came with a black box. Next up, you have the Freddy prototypes. The prototypes are a little bit different because they have black splatter and some of them feature suede, and there's rumored to be around 10 or 12 pairs of Freddy prototypes out there. Next up, you have the Freddy samples. I have also learned that there are some variations in the samples. For example, some of the sample tags feature the 99999 number and some of them don't. There's rumored to be around 26 pairs of the Freddy samples out there. Last up, and most probably the biggest number of Freddys out there, are the pairs that were saved from the quote-unquote fire. Now guys, remember the story. The Freddys were recalled, they were sent back to Nike where they were supposed to be destroyed. The story goes that the Freddys were piled up and they were doused with oil in preparation to be set on fire. A myth goes that before the shoes were set fire to, a number of Nike employees just grabbed pairs off the pile, stuffed them in garbage bags, stealthily stored them away, and held onto them. These pairs can be identified in the secondary market by the presence of oil stains. Now, one source informs me that it's very unlikely that this fire actually ever took place. It's a myth, it's a story. The source informs me that Nike were not likely to burn shoes as a way to get rid of them. They would have more likely recycled them or repurposed them. And so the fire story, whilst very dramatic and very interesting, at this point is little more than a myth. There were nonetheless a large number of pairs that were recovered from the destruction process. This number might be as high as 200 to 300 pairs, meaning we have approximately 26 pairs of retail pairs from the Mexico release, 12 pairs of prototypes, 26 pairs of samples, and between 200 and 300 pairs that were essentially recovered from the destruction process. Meaning, guys, we're probably looking at a number more around the 300 mark than the 30 mark. Now, this hypothesis certainly explains what we see online today, with there being so many more Freddy Kruegers out there on the market. Over time, as more Nike employees have either left Nike or been fired or whatever, these types of pairs have been coming onto the market with a little bit more regularity. And so it's certainly possible maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, there probably really were only 30 or so Freddy Kruegers in circulation. Another thing that explains why they are so conspicuous online is because you're seeing them at sneaker shows. And at this point, a lot of resellers are basically just selling these to each other, pumping the price, making margins, waiting for a well-heeled collector to come and just absolutely splurge out on them. And so in a lot of these videos, you are seeing basically the same Freddys over and over again. Now, this is just my take on the situation. This is certainly not the gospel, and if you know any corrections to the story that need to be made, or you have some extra information that I have forgotten to mention, please feel free to drop it down below in the comments. I really would appreciate your input. And if you did enjoy this video, be sure to hit the like button for me. We can now stop commenting under every single Freddy video that you see that there are only 30 pairs or there's only 100 pairs. The reality is there's probably more like 300 pairs out there. And I've given you my reasons today as to why I think that is the case. Guys, have a great weekend. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Take care for now, and peace.